Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of Patch Notes, the Home Games podcast. I'm Yazeed, and this is Joseph.
Hello.
We work on home games as the primary developers on home games, which is a LAN game platform or something like that.
Something like that. We made home games. We make home games. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you've seen the website where we say with one sentence what home games is. But this is the part where this is the thing where we talk about home games.
And home games accessories.
And home games accessories. And today is January 26th, 2020.
It is. I think you should be in charge of telling people the date because I continuously forget to do that.
All right. I'll be the date master from now on.
Thank you.
Ask me anything as long as that question is what is today's date. I got you.
What is tomorrow's date?
Yeah, I can't answer that question for you, but I'm sorry. Ask me tomorrow when tomorrow is today.
Okay.
It has to be today's date.
How soon into tomorrow will you know tomorrow's date?
It has to be today. There is no tomorrow for the date master.
At what minute do you know what day it is?
At what minute does the day change over from tomorrow or today to tomorrow? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Midnight on the dot.
On the dot?
Yeah, like 11:59:59. It's still today. Midnight on the dot. It's today now, but it's yesterday's tomorrow.
I thought you said there were no tomorrows.
Yesterday's tomorrow is today.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I understand. All right, now that we've got we've gone completely off the rails out of the way.
Strong opening.
I think this is when we do the what's up music.
What's up music?
All right. One of the things from last episode I noticed was that you and I would say, all right, we pause here for the what's up music, but we would say that while the what's up music is playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine because the music's still playing over it, you know?
Yeah.
People can hear in the background. They'll be like, wow, you know, look at how real and uncut these guys are. They don't edit out anything.
So what's happening, man? What's new?
Nothing's new. I'm chilling. I'm drinking this latte I made this morning.
Ooh.
Put too much espresso in it. I put 4 shots of espresso.
4 shots of espresso?
Well, it's 2 double shots. So in total, it's like 4 servings or whatever of espresso. This is what they would call a quad shot at your local espresso vendor.
At what point will you die from drinking too many shots of espresso?
I don't know. I've done 6 in 1 mug before. That was okay. I didn't die though. I don't know. I can handle caffeine pretty well. I've been drinking caffeine since I was like 10, so I think my caffeine receptors are mostly non-functional.
You know how they say caffeine stunts like your vertical growth? You're taller than me.
I'd be like 7'4" if I drank less coffee. Kind of worked out though. I'm a good height. I'm happy with this height.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with the amount of coffee I drink, except for when I drink too much and it makes me shake a lot. But I'm mostly fine. But
all right, would you rather gain or lose 5 inches? You have to choose. You can't be your height.
Gain, no question.
Gain?
Yeah. I'd be
How tall would you be?
I'd be 6'7" if I gained 5 inches.
Oh my God.
So I'd be like half Reis's height. It'd be pretty cool. That's Yazeed's brother.
I think Reis is 6'7" or 6'8", something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'm drinking this latte. It's in this crazy mug. Have you seen these mugs before? These heating mugs? Like temperature maintaining mugs?
No.
This is called an Ember Mug. Synovia got it for Christmas. And I've been borrowing it from her because I drink a lot more coffee than she does. And it's this thing. I'll show you, Yazeed. The listeners can imagine this or just look it up. But it's a little like charging plate that I have. Mm-hmm. This cup goes on this charging plate and then it charges a battery. You see here there's a light on. This mug is connected to my phone via Bluetooth. And I can control the temperature at which the mug like stays at with my phone. So this is at 135. And so my latte has been made for like 45 minutes, but it's still at 135.
That's insane.
It's nice. The battery life is like 2 hours though. And so if, you have a cup full of liquid and then a charging base, it's like if you, let's say that you're a clumsy fool like me, and you maybe bump things over a lot. It doesn't seem like a good combo. So, yeah, I don't know.
It does seem a little bit dangerous. I won't deny that.
It's mostly fun. But I don't know if this is like a worth it thing. I just think it's interesting, and I use it every now and then.
So on your phone, you set the exact temperature that you want the cup to stay at?
Yeah, down to the degree.
So why did you pick 135 then?
I don't know. It defaults it to 140, so I let it do that, and then it was a little too hot. So I brought it down to 135, and that's where I'm at.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like a weird coffee person thing. Like there was like some coffee knowledge in there. Like 135 is the proper temperature to consume a latte.
Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that you should brew coffee at like 200 degrees in general. But that's about all the coffee guy knowledge I know, even though I drink so much of it. I don't know anything about it.
I mean, we watched a documentary together on coffee.
Yeah, that was fascinating. It's like the whole thing from, growing the cherries and cleaning the cherries and all that kind of stuff to the final process, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Made me appreciate.
My favorite part was the big fan that they just blow on the, to get the, peel or whatever. Like the dried husk away from the actual, thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just, that whole thing is cool to me. Just watching the whole process. Yeah. You get an appreciation for the coffee beans in the end, because it's like, oh, when I'm pouring them into the grinder and I drop one. Before it's like, it's just a coffee bean, whatever. But now it's like, that used to be like a whole fruit, and there were so many things that had to be done to get this in this bag in front of me.
So before we get into more of the what's up stuff, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. When was the last time you ate something and verbalized how good it was? But not with words, noises. Oh, yeah.
Probably last week when we went to that Brazilian steakhouse I was telling you about. Mm-hmm. I tried a bunch of different things. I tried some picanha. I tried some whatever. But that's more, I don't know if the sounds were because Shinobi and I were doing that thing where it's we both just took a giant bite of beef and you can't speak. So you have to acknowledge to each other that you both like it. So it's like a but you look each other in the eyes and do a That was probably romantic. Yeah, just making grunts at each other. But yeah, that's probably the last weekend. What about you? Do you often make sounds to your food? I know you like bird noises, but not in a sexual way.
I do make bird noises, but that's mostly for entertainment purposes. But on Thursday, I made myself a Boca burger, and it was so good that I definitely was like, oh yeah. But to myself alone, and it echoed a little bit. And I was sad.
Is that the same burger that you made for us when I was there?
Yeah, but I changed some stuff up. I changed some things.
What did you change? What was the old recipe and what's the new recipe?
The old recipe was a Boca burger on a bun and a Mexican cheese blend with barbecue sauce, and I think I had spinach and I didn't have lettuce. So those are the things I forced people to eat because that was what I was eating at the time. But I knew I was going to have a Boca burger, and so because I went to go and get the Boca burgers, and on my way home I stopped at the grocery store, a different grocery store, to get Munster buns and organic lettuce, green leaf lettuce.
Really doing it up.
Yeah, I kind of was. Yeah, so then you fry, or you grill. I don't know. You throw it on the griddle, the Boca burger, and then right before it's done, I put the buns down. So the buns toasted, which I normally don't do. And then I had 4 slices of Munster cheese, 1 on each of the buns, and then 2 in between the 2 Boca burgers, and then just a barbecue sauce, and then just a fistful of shredded green leaf lettuce.
That sounds pretty good. It sounds like a premium Boca burger experience.
It was so good, and it was so warm. It just warmed me up on the inside. It was a good experience. I liked it. 9 out of 10.
What could have made it better? Why is it not a 10 out of 10?
Because Boca burgers are good, but I need to eat like a side with a Boca burger because it's not quite filling enough. So I had to find something else to eat. And the only other thing I had in my house was a Cliff Bar. And a Cliff Bar was not the way to wash that down.
What's a Boca burger made of? Just plants?
I think so. I don't know. It is plant-based, though. It's vegan.
Yeah.
But I don't really like French fries to begin with. So
What?
Yeah, I don't like potatoes very much.
I don't understand that at all, though. French fries are like the best go-to snack. Not really. I mean, you can't easily access French fries unless you're making them yourself, which no one does that, or you're buying them. And I don't know. French fries are just like the American snack, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of French fries, really.
What's your go-to instead of a French fry?
Onion rings.
Dude. No. That's just not... Okay, I would have taken another answer, but not onion rings. Because onion rings are like a bad French fry.
What?
Yeah. Yup.
Onion rings are sweet.
Yeah, exactly. And the batter, too much batter. And then that whole thing where you bite into an onion ring and then the whole onion comes out and you're left with like the husk of fried. Mm-hmm. You're just like, do I eat this? Do I try to salvage this whole thing and put the onion back into it? This is a mess. I wish I had a French fry.
Onion rings are my go-to at places that sell onion rings, but there's a burger place not far from where I work that they sell sweet potato tater tots, and I'm all about those.
Oh, interesting. I've never had a sweet potato tater tot. I've had a sweet potato French fry.
Mm-hmm. Those are also really good.
Yeah, I love sweet potato fries.
But the tater tots, I think, are even better because I liked tater tots when I was young, but when we were doing swimming classes every week or 3 times a week or whatever, we would make our mom make us tater tots, my brother and I. And I got sick of tater tots because of that.
I like the density of a tater tot. I like how present in the mouth a tater tot is. Yeah, that's probably the only, like the biggest benefit over a French fry.
When you come to town again, I'll take you there. We can get some tater tots because they also give you a medley of sauces to dip them in. My favorite is sriracha mayo.
I do like some sriracha mayo. I even like a sriracha ketchup, and I hate ketchup.
I also hate ketchup.
Something about ketchup disgusts me.
It's a tomato smoothie.
I don't know. It's a little too smooth to be called a smoothie, I think. I think a smoothie needs ice chunks in order to be a smoothie. It's more like a tomato.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's like a tomato. It's like a tomato paste. It's like a tomato thing, you know.
Do you like salsa?
I really don't.
Okay, all right. You don't like tomatoes then?
I don't like. Yeah, I hate tomatoes in every way. Didn't we talk about this? It was just like, you like only cooked tomatoes.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. We're the opposite because tomatoes are only good if you eat them raw like an apple. And I'm correct on that. I actually have science to back that up. It's not like an opinion or whatever.
So, hold on a second. Did you just say like an apple? Are you talking about holding it in your hand and just right, like really getting in there?
Yeah, like take not a cherry tomato. I mean, cherry tomatoes are great too, but I mean one of the like a tomato. Like go to grocery store, get tomato, big raw tomato, and you bite into that thing like it's an apple or a peach.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna leave that one because I don't want to touch that again. Last time that made me sad, I think. Another question: do you and Synovia do shared grocery lists? Like, do you just like keep one grocery list between the two of you?
We don't keep a list. Like we used to have a Alexa device in a bunch of rooms in here, so we would do the shopping list with that. But then once we got rid of that, we kind of just don't. So, I mean, we get groceries together.
Okay.
So it'll be like, what do we need type stuff. If you've ever seen How I Met Your Mother, there's that episode where Ted talks about Marshall and Lily becoming a we, no longer an I. It's like, hey, do you have time to hang out this weekend? And he's like, oh, we would love to, or whatever type stuff. It's like that. I don't go to the grocery store. We get groceries for us. We're at that level in the relationship.
Dang, that's pretty deep in.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would hope so. We're engaged.
Yeah, right. And then, shoot, what was I gonna ask you? Oh, do you get groceries for like a week or like a day, or like what's your average amount of grocery purchases?
I would say we're about a week out. We'll get stuff for the freezer like every now and then, but a typical grocery run is like the basics: milk, bread, eggs, cheese, and then whatever else we're getting for that particular meal. Like we got groceries yesterday because I'm making nachos today, so I needed stuff for nachos. Mm-hmm. My big fancy Sunday dinner is going to be nachos with ground beef. Not very fancy, but pretty fancy.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have another Boca burger because I need to finish those buns.
Nice. Are you gonna do it up all fancy? Double Boca burger with 4 slices of cheese again?
Oh, yeah, dude. Munster's so good because when it melts, it retains its rectangular shape. So it just kind of like becomes soft, but like retains shape, which I really like.
Very important.
Yeah.
Like a cheddar maintains its shape too well, and it becomes kind of rubbery when it gets hot. It doesn't melt.
A Munster doesn't become rubbery, but it just feels... I think Munster is the best cheese to eat when it's kind of melty.
I've heard, or Gruyere is another good one people say for grilled cheeses and stuff. I'm saying cheddar. It's better than cheddar in that cheddar is typically a go-to. Like
I think cheddar is one of the weakest cheeses.
Oh my god, what?
Cheddar is one of the worst.
No, I heard you, but what? Like that's incorrect because you can eat sharp cheddar like in bricks. You know what I mean? Probably won't do well after that, but I can sit down with a block of like Tillamook cheddar.
Nah, cheddar is just a basic Betty kind of cheese. There's much more interesting cheeses out there. Interesting
doesn't equate to good. You know, like blue cheese is interesting and I don't like it.
No, blue cheese is bad. I meant cheeses that are more interesting in terms of like their flavor profile. Like they have a lot more going on and are better.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, I'm making a burger. Do I need to have brie and Gruyere and Gouda and blah, 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 blah? No, I'll put a Kraft single in here. Because I'm not a freaking prince or whatever, you know? I'm not living like a king. I don't need Gruyere or whatever.
It's not even expensive.
Okay, but it's all fancy sounding, so...
It does all sound fancy. You just gotta go into it and, like, suss it out. It's like coffee. Like, I don't know anything about coffee. And it sounds too complicated to me. But cheese I understand.
All I'm saying is no one can truly understand cheese.
That's true.
There's a lot going on when you look at a cheese. It's like this came from a cow, like just milk turned into this eventually.
Wow, not all the time, man. You could also get goat cheese.
That's true. Goat cheese is quality.
Yeah. I make a really nice salad with goat cheese.
Wow. I didn't know I would ever be such close friends with a guy who would say something like that.
Oh my god.
Make a really good salad with goat cheese, you know?
It's a spring salad.
Oh my god.
It's good. It's good. I'll make it for you next time you're here. It involves watermelon, mint, goat cheese, and balsamic vinegar.
I think you told me about this last time we were talking about goat cheese. Very excited.
I think so. We talk about goat cheese more than most people, I feel like.
Except balsamic vinegar is disgusting. I don't want that anywhere near anything I'm eating.
Oh man, I'll put it off to the side at first, but you should try it at least a little bit because it adds a really interesting it's like a little razzle dazzle, you know?
No. I'll go out to a restaurant and that'll be splashed on like a piece of bread or a thing with whatever, and it's offensive to me that people put that on food. Okay,
we'll try it when you're here.
Okay, I guess.
Do you want to get into the actual podcast stuff, the home game stuff?
This is the actual podcast. I don't know about you, but our core content should be balsamic vinegar and different types of fancy cheeses.
That's the kind of demographic I'm hitting, because when we get up to What's Up Part 2, we're going to be hitting a demographic I don't want to deal with.
Going straight into anime.
Yep.
One thing before we go into home game stuff, you had a question for me last week because that's a thing that you like to do, and I didn't have an answer for your thing. I had this experience at work this past week, so I have my you might be a X if you do Y type joke. So if you ever closed 50 plus tabs in Chrome or Firefox, and 10 of them, at least 10 of them, were the exact same Stack Overflow post, then you're definitely a developer. Because I had that happen multiple times this week. Where it's like, this solution sucks, I'm going to Google it again in a new tab, but I think this one might be okay if I were to run out of other options. And you Google it in a new tab, and then it comes up, and you're like, okay, this is the same thing I was just on, but I don't like, and you repeat it. But it's kind of like sprinkled in because my brain goes in a loop where I'll try a different thing, and then I'll eventually start searching for the original query again and then repeat. But there's no better feeling.
Actually, that is, you might be a developer if.
Yeah, you're definitely a developer. No might be. No one ever has done that who wasn't at least knee deep in some code at the time. But yeah, home game stuff. I guess we can move on to that now. Home game stuff. Music is playing.
All right. So, I want to go first because I feel like I should. So, for people who don't know, Square is the home games version of Frogger, and I just wanted to make it harder to say. So, Square is basically Frogger, and I posted another tweet about it, and I added the home games, which you should tweet at us too. I know Joseph saw it. Basically, I tweeted home games so Joseph can see what I'm doing. But I added collisions in with the non-playable cars or non-playable squares that are roaming around the map looking to smash another square. And I don't know if check collisions works.
It definitely works.
What?
It definitely works.
Because the only place that I could find that we were using check collisions was in the move test, and this .squish was not defined in the move test. Well, I had to write my own anyway, because I ran into a race condition. Basically, if your timing was really good, you could go up to an incoming car, and if you timed it just right, you could move at the same time as the car, and so you would avoid the collision because the car would be ticking across, and then you would have jumped at the same time. So it's like, oh, was there a collision? Well, no, because the car was in this spot and you were in this spot.
Yeah, there's no like transition time. Yeah. It's just moved. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I had to add in some logic to to fix that. And that's why I said I lost some brain cells doing that, because I was really hunting down how this could be happening. And then just like by chance, I was like, what if there's a race condition in this?
Well, that...
And sure enough.
You're saying race condition, that's in your game logic, right? Not in...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's in... The race condition is more that the NPCs move at a consistent tick rate. But you as the player control when you tick, because you control when you move. So you can set it up so it's like incoming car, you need to move. So you're like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. The game, like the NPC is about to tick forward and you go to move as well. And so when it does the collision check for the player, it's like, nah, you're good. And when it does the collision check for the
game node, it's in the
the non-playable game node, it's also like you're okay. And you basically just jump through it. So now what I do is I do a check before and after the non-playable characters move to cut down on the amount of time possible for you to like jump through.
Or you could have done something like, if you have a tick, everything updates on the tick and nothing else updates outside of it. So
maybe.
So it's like, okay, well, the player is holding down this character while the tick is going. I'm going to check what inputs they currently have down and then tick along with it. So it's not like a separate execution thing.
Oh, maybe. Well, the problem is I need the game nodes to move independently of the player.
Yeah, they can. It's just that you would update them at the same time.
Oh, I see.
You would check updates at the same time. So instead of input...
Like a set interval that's separate for those things, I would just call like a function that's like tick along.
Well, it's like every tick, you just check what you have to do based on the current state. So it's like, my current state is this, my player's input is this. So instead of input mapping directly to an action, input maps to a state change, and then that state change is read on Tick, and then Tick will update its own state based on that new kind of info.
Yeah, so basically I build like a queue of things to do per tick, and then I just consume the queue.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, just kind of whatever. I mean, instead of yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, I guess. But I redid check collisions, and I moved it out to a separate function, so it's not even part of the squisher anymore. It just you basically give it one node that is the root that you want to search within, and you give it a second node, which is the node you want to check for collisions. So you basically say, if I were to do this thing in this tree, what would this thing collide with? So and that like I said, exists outside of the squisher, so hopefully that'll be easier to use or whatever once we kind of merge all this stuff that we're working on together.
Yeah, I think so. Well, so for me, I needed to do an array of things to compare against, because basically I need to check if like the player's square connected with any of these other squares. So we could probably put those two together, and I just call your function for each of those combinations.
If you have an array, aren't they all in a subtree?
Aren't they all in a subtree?
Like if you have 12 game nodes and they're the child of this.base.children or this.base. NPC root or whatever, then you would just pass check collisions with NPC root and your node.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe I'll once that comes out, I'll definitely play around with making the changes, because I know I'm going to have to like overhaul the logic in here. But yeah, I actually got the collisions to work, and I was pretty stoked about that.
Very nice.
It jumps you back, and I'm very happy that I could get that to work. It took me a lot longer to trace down the race condition than it probably should have.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was like, what? Originally, what I thought what was happening was that it was counting the two touching, like their edges touching, as a collision, and that was not what it was happening.
Yeah. Well, I saw
the other thing. I was like, sorry, go ahead.
I saw the video that you posted on Twitter. I thought I didn't know it was happening, but it was cool. Something didn't run into or run through the other thing. I was like, okay, he's got that thing working.
Yeah, I did. It took me quite a while, but you get jumped back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And we could always change it so that you get locked out or something if we're going to do like a last one standing type dealio.
That's all you know. You're the artistic director of this whole thing. I know. No idea.
I'm Video Kojima.
Did you say Video Kojima?
I think Video Game Donkey calls him that, and I think it's funny. So what about you, man? You spent a lot of time this week. I heard.
I didn't.
It was yesterday.
It was like 4 or 6 hours, whatever. I've been stupid busy with my real life outside of all this stuff. So I didn't actually work on home games at all, except for editing the podcast Monday and Tuesday night. And then Saturday, which is yesterday, I kind of woke up dummy early and had one of my things. I really like doing like marathon days. Synovia really doesn't like when I do this, but I just basically stay in the room all day and work on stuff, and then play video games, and then go back and work on stuff, and kind of keep moving between stuff. And that's when I'm in my zone, especially with home games. And I spent a few hours yesterday just kind of continuing on with the stuff I was talking about last week, which is all of the restructuring and refactoring and cleaning up, and kind of like what I was just talking about with the check collision stuff, making it make sense, kind of decoupling a lot of stuff that's all tangled together in the squisher right now. So yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm almost done. I put up a pull request, and I kind of self-reviewed it and added a bunch of comments, stuff about styling and stuff I needed to remove, and some kind of cleanup stuff, which I've mostly finished with. So Yazeed, it's pretty much ready to read. I have 2 unresolved comments on there that I still need to go and change, but I think it's like 2,000 lines added, 1,300 lines removed. So it's definitely a lot. Like, the absolute number is a lot of changes, but I think overall it's really not that bad. It's basically the squisher has been rewritten. The game session has been changed around to account for the squisher rewrites. And then everything else has been kind of moved around. Like our util stuff makes more sense. There's a common util for games to use, and then there's a home games util. Maybe I'll name them different things. Maybe one is a lib or a lib or whatever. But I don't know. Basically, just changing stuff around to make things make more sense, at least to me.
Yeah.
And I had some bugs. I had one really stupid bug, on the client where basically if you weren't the second there were nodes on the screen that you were not the player that needed to receive them, or nodes in the game frame and you were not the intended player for them and you just had to hide them, if that ever happened, you would enter an infinite loop on the client and nothing would ever actually finish and the whole tab would crash out and all that thing. And that's just because I incremented my counter within my if statement instead of at the end of it. So that was it. I was like going through and trying all this crazy testing stuff, but basically it would only increment if the node was for it. But if the node was not for it, it wouldn't increment anything, and it would just keep reading the same node over and over and over again, checking that it's not for itself. So that was one of the stupidest bugs I've ever had. In home games, at least. And I fixed that. It took me like 2 hours.
Nice.
It's embarrassing. I don't know. I guess it's just like changing stuff around, making sure everything continues to work. And it does. I've got some stuff I still need to fix and clean up, and I have comments about that in the pull request. But like I also say in the pull request, master is just so outdated that I want to just get this stuff in because I want to work on stuff that's not what I've been working on. I just want to make games. So I want to get to that point where I can make games.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll spend this week reviewing it and letting you know if I see anything that is a little weird or anything like that.
I mean, there's definitely weird stuff, but I've marked what's weird and said that I'm not going to update some of it because it's just not I'm trying to avoid adding on more and more and more. And so it's like, oh, this could be abstracted, this can be nice, but I'm trying to kind of cut it off at a certain point and leave that stuff for smaller PRs.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy about that because, like you said in your comment, you are the king of scope creep.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's like you mentioned the pull request milestone thing. I actually realized I disagree with that because I think a pull request, I mean, like ideally it's not large, but I think keeping a commit being a self-contained unit, like my atomic unit is not a pull request, it is a commit. So if you look at a pull request as a series of commits, you can follow each individual change from there, which in the end results in a large pull request, and that is reviewed as like the final deliverable. But if you want to see the actual pieces of each, they're all associated with a commit. So I think a milestone PR is essentially a commit.
I think what I meant by that is like if you can break a feature request down into 2 PRs, if you know it's going to cost you like more than 1,000 lines, then just to do it in 2 PRs, each one like about 500 or whatever. Like however you can break stuff down like that, break it down because it makes it a lot easier for people to review. I feel like. Oh
yeah, that's true. It's just in the thing I'm currently doing where I'm like literally ripping out the core and putting in a new one. There's nothing, I can't really be incremental about that, I guess. So
yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, it's not, if you can't break it down and you have to change it all at once, then you can't do milestone PRs. Yeah. But if you can do it like incrementally, I think milestone PRs are better. Like getting it from A to C, you get to B first, right? But yours, you had to go from A to B. There wasn't really like an in between.
Yeah, and I guess you can call these aren't PRs, but if I had done PRs for them, the Squish and Home Games web stuff as well, because those would be incremental changes in the sense that they didn't exist and now they do, and it's from another PR. Anyway,
right, but the change to use those isn't incremental, right? Like it's either like you are or you aren't using those like.
Yeah, but if I say this pull request depends on PR this of Squisher and this of Home Games Web. Once these are split out, then this one, whatever. Like you have a dependency graph at that point of all these separate things across different repos. And it's like a different type of thing. Like you said, there's no incremental, especially when everything kind of has to change at once. So I don't know. Anyway, Milestone PRs, I guess it like I think that to me is smaller feature PRs, but then I don't really like the idea of a feature being half complete in master. So it's like I can add functionality for something in the squisher and then not use it until the second PR, but then that's like dead code technically. You know what I mean? And I don't like that.
I see what you mean, but it does make it easier to review those two pieces separately. Like, okay, does this work? Yes or no? And then, like, would this work? Yes or no? And then, is the implementation correct? Yes or no? I guess you're answering two different questions.
But then that would be a design and implementation as opposed to I wrote this whole function and nothing calls it. How do you know if it would work? That really should have been like a design document or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you're doing it that way, then in theory, somebody should be able to read the function and see, like, okay, this is what it's like. This is what it wants to do.
Yeah,
and is it what you're trying to solve?
But then what if
it's what I meant by that is it's not like that. I think is one feature. I think if you were say changing how collisions are calculated and also something else. Like, you're right that the implementation is the caller and the callee. That's correct. I think a milestone to me is more like if something could be broken up to break it up into two separate feature PRs. So like if you have like 4 features and one of them isn't related to the other 3, to do the 3 together and then do the other one separately, even though I know it's easier to just do all 4 of them in one branch and then to put a PR with all 4 of them.
Yeah, I think, that makes sense. Yeah. I haven't had any changes up to this point where that made sense in like it's a very case-by-case basis. And hopefully soon we get to a point where I can have more of a self-contained feature thing instead of so this was trash, so I rewrote it and ripped out all this, and I changed this and this and this, and now the whole thing is different. Like, I think it's starting to settle down a little bit to the point where, especially with this new batch of changes, like this seems like the way to go, at least for a while, to the point where we'll have a little bit more control over the process.
Yeah, I agree, and I think right now it makes sense that we're gonna have just massive PRs because we're still very much so like building this thing out. Yeah. I meant like that's more of like a future us thing. Like a future us decision is to like actively try to make feature requests, like feature changes smaller,
sure, or
more like parsed out. But right now it's like, oh well, I want to do this, but that requires me to build like 4 files worth of information, and so you have to like build all of that together, and now you're at like 1,000 lines of code change or whatever.
If the end result is the pull request and the end result of a PR is merging to master, then this PR needs to be a complete thing, and getting a complete thing, I think, should stem from a GitHub issue or something like that, where it's like the goal of this PR is to address issue X of this. This is like, whatever, because currently we don't have a project manager, and we are our own project managers, but we're terrible at doing that. So, because we're podcast hosts / project managers / the only engineers / designers / whatever else.
We're also the PR team, social media team.
Yeah, and we're terrible at all of it. And so
whoa, we're good developers.
We're all right at writing code, but the other stuff is like, so I don't know. I think we both just need to get better at, instead of just seeing a thing and wanting to just do it, it's like, well, I should create an issue for this and track this issue and provide context in that issue.
I agree.
Yeah. But anyway, that's about it for me and what I've been doing with home game stuff. It's just nothing like really that cool or fun. I had something I want to talk about in terms of home games content, but not actual home games code.
Oh, this is new.
So last week I referenced the ability to create home games like video content, And what I meant was I bought a gimbal for my phone so I can record like a stable video with my thing and, you know, record high quality stuff on an iPhone. Mm-hmm. That's basically what I meant. And I also have a mobile microphone setup stuff, but we can't really use that because we don't live in the same place. So just in the future, if we ever need that, I have it. But I was thinking in the more immediate time frame or whatever, doing something like a developer, like a video developer, not diary, but kind of. One of my friends who, you know, has made more games than me and was talking, and kind of has more experience in this whole thing, was just saying the importance of creating videos of your games. Something like a demo, because the only way someone can do it now is going to Pico de Gallo or downloading stuff and running it themselves. But if someone is like, what is home games? Like, something that can show you what it is without having to run it. And he was talking about how one time he actually lost all the source code for one of his games, and the only thing he had really for it was a video that he recorded of it years ago or whatever. It was like a 1.5-minute long video, but it's nice to have that video. It's another nice thing to just be able to track changes visually in the thing that we've been building. I mean, even if you compare 6 months ago home game stuff to what it looks like now, it's very different. But that stuff is kind of lost to time unless someone goes back through the commits and somehow figures out how to run everything themselves back at that point. So I was thinking it'd be interesting to do something like just like a video demo, like a 2-minute video demo from one of us. I was actually going to record one last night and then I fell asleep. But doing something like a demo where I'm just basically going through and showing, this is what we have, this is what it is, this button does this, la la la. And if we have some sort of change in the future, if we have some sort of significant change in the future to that, we can kind of do another one. Just do like a biweekly or monthly or whatever it is, visual check-in that can be different from other content. It's kind of like what we've been talking about in terms of writing content and how it has more of a focus.
Yeah.
But I like writing, like Shinobi and I were talking about this last night. Writing seems like work. You have to have proper sentence structure and you have to think about what you're saying, whereas you can kind of just freestyle a video. And it's like something we talked about way early on about video content and how it gets crusty and how you know this thing will be outdated. And I think if we embrace the fact that it'll be outdated and kind of use that as the whole point of making it, is because, hey, check it out, this is what it is right now, but it'll be different in a month and it'll be different in a year, then that can be the kind of series.
Yeah, it's like see the delta across it, like as it changes and gets better.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
or worse.
Yeah. Just like a progress check-in. I mean, someone who listens to this podcast who doesn't want to run code and doesn't really care about running code. They're just more interested in us for whatever reason. And they're interested in what we're building, but not in a way where they want to use it. You know what I mean? So then they can kind of track something along in that kind of way. And then I think being on YouTube can be something, because it's like we talked about. I think you weren't there for this episode, but we were talking about the added cost of uploading to YouTube because it's a whole separate process. And I don't like the idea of just ripping this audio and adding it to a video thumbnail and then putting that up on YouTube, because that is a lot of my time and I don't know how much value we get out of just putting this somewhere else. So if we have some sort of actual focused video content for YouTube, that would kind of help us expand the brand in a way, and would also, I don't know, I think it'd be fun to do. Either of us can do it. Yeah,
I think it'd be super fun. I agree.
Cool.
I agree. I think the more outlets we have to explain our reasoning and to show our progress, the more progress we'll make and the more well reasoned out our code will be and our decision making will be. Because the problem is you and I have a similar problem where it makes sense right now, and so we just go with it because it's like, this makes sense. And then like a month later, we're like, this wasn't the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, you could always do like a hackathon or whatever type thing where we just decide to add in a bunch of crazy features that are half-baked, but I don't think we should be doing that in... Like, we should start to define our process, and we don't... Like, adding bad, fast hacks should not be part of the process, or if they are, then we should have a process for those.
I agree, 100%. And I also think that you're right that we're kind of out of the fast hacks phase.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just trying to get something out there. We kind of have something that works. Like, people can play games on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, like, amazing, you know? And I think the fact that I do think it is amazing, like, we should make a video of it, you know? Someone should be able to see what we're talking about. Like, there was that episode where I demoed it to you in your kitchen. Like, we were sitting side by side, and I showed you all the changes I had made. Mm-hmm. Like, why not give someone the ability to look at that? Because that's the point of being able to look at something. Like, we could do a video podcast, and people would be able to see both of us sitting on our chairs with our headphones on doing nothing, because I don't think that's very interesting. But there's something visually interesting, I think, to the video game thing that we're building, because it's a video game thing. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I agree. And I don't know, there's just a lot of cool progress that we've made over the last few months. And if we had video of like where it was to where it's at right now, I think people would be as excited as we are.
Yeah, or not. I don't know. Whatever, you know, like.
I mean, they may or may not be, but I feel like they would be if people who like followed us regularly for the last 14 episodes. From episode 0 to episode 14, we've gotten better at podcasting, but also Home Games, the product, has improved significantly.
Yeah. I don't know if we've gotten better at podcasting. I don't know if we've gotten better at podcasting.
Yeah, that's
possibly worse.
Criticism. But like, I think when we first started, all we had was move test working.
No, we had a bunch of stuff working. Like the layer test has been there for
the test stuff. I don't think we had like any game really, like a true game.
Yeah, I mean, we still really don't have game. Like Slaps was the first game, and then that's still kind of in there, half finished. And we still don't really have any real games. Like I would say, Square is the first real game. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the point, right? Is that we would have all these kind of checkpoints of what all these middle things of not quite a game. And then I think the dashboard thing, like we didn't have the dashboard, so being able to show that. And, you know, I fixed all these crazy rendering bugs and timing anyway, all this stuff so it renders well and it renders consistently and it's fast and you can move between stuff, and getting a demo of this dashboard's here and it doesn't work to this dashboard's here and everything just kind of moves really nicely would be cool too. But I don't know how often we'd update those. I don't know the process for when we'd upload or whatever, but we have the Home Games YouTube channel. I just haven't put anything on it yet. But I think, yeah, like you said, getting people more excited or as excited as us, or even just getting content under our name out there for people to have the opportunity to be excited about something.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Expand the brand. Hashtag expand the brand.
Jeez. Rise and grind.
You got to get a social media manager or something to help.
I think that's you.
I wear too many hats to wear a social media manager hat.
That one's a helmet. For sure.
I'm also terrible at social media stuff. It's just like, what do the people want to hear? Memes and negativity? That's my Twitter, but I don't think people want that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are good changes. Positive changes.
Oh, God. Positive changes. Yeah, so that's my video demos bullet point I had in my notes. I think I'll probably record one of those today after I finish up my PR changes and I get that stuff complete. Because once I get that done, then I'm seriously just going to go work on a video game. Like, I'm just going to go build my Square, you know?
Ooh, what? Do you have an idea for one already?
No, but I think I want to, like I said last week, I think I want to use this arcade stick. Mm-hmm. I don't know what, though, but I want to use this arcade stick, but I also really like the idea of a group-based idle game. It just feels like that'll take a lot of time, and I've tried to build an idle game before, actually, and realized that it's just one core set of complicated math, and then all these variables that you tune to make people addicted to it, and it's like, I don't know if I can build a complex number system thing or if that's what I want to build as my first thing, so I'll probably just do some like a video game, whatever that means, but I'm using arcade stick as inspiration. Like looking at an arcade stick makes me think about video games. So what is a video game to me?
On some level, I feel like there's something very artistic about what you said. On the other level, it sounds hilarious to say that, like, I'm using a fight stick as my inspiration for a video game. It sounds like I'm using a corn cob as inspiration for this painting.
I used the brush to inspire the yeah, that whole thing. It's like, I don't know, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know what I'm gonna build, what the scope of the thing I'm gonna build is, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of the next after the we have a thing working, and I'm figuring out what do I do when we have a thing working, because this is kind of the start of the rest of it, which is the adding to it and building stuff that you think is interesting and fixing stuff and then continuing and repeating. So I don't know, but we'll see.
What we should do for next episode is you and me should each write an elevator pitch for home games, and then like a 2-minute elevator pitch, and then we should have Shinobi sit in and hear our pitch and decide if she likes either of them or which one she prefers. Okay, all right. So next episode, we'll force Shinobi to listen to some bad elevator pitches.
Great. Are you going like over the top? Or are you? I guess I don't need to hear your strategy.
No, like try to make it a good elevator pitch. But if it's bad, that's just I don't expect them to be good. Is what I'm trying to say.
Your whole mic, everything you just said, cut out for me. Except for be bad or something.
Oh no, I said like don't try to make a bad elevator pitch. But if it's accidentally bad, that's fine. Like I don't expect it to be a good pitch.
Accidentally bad is like the whole everything I'm afraid of. That's why I make things intentionally bad so no one can say it's bad.
No. Like I want maximum effort. Like I want you to try to do a good elevator pitch. Like I really want to try for each of us to sell Shinobi on home games.
Sell how? Is she supposed to invest in a revenue-less business or just invest in the idea?
Just to get her into the idea of home games.
But she's already bought into the idea of home games.
I know. That's why it's easier.
Right.
Okay. But also because Shinobi has experience in like business.
She does have a degree in business. So she could
tell us if she even thinks that it's a good pitch or not.
But yeah, that's a fun idea.
Yeah. Shinobi likes, I don't know. And then if we have another, that's what we should do. Next time we're in person, we find somebody who we think would want to use home games. And then we try to pitch them on, hey, there's this cool thing called home games, right? I was about to say what I think my elevator pitch is going to be based on. I was like, no, I'm not sharing this with Joseph. This is a competition.
Okay. Well, it might be rigged against you because Shinobi and I have
because Shinobi, yeah, I know. But if my pitch is really good, I'm going to get the nod.
We have to record this in some way. That's all I know.
Yeah, we will absolutely record this in some way.
But yeah, I guess that's all for home games that I had in terms of actual ideas and changes and stuff.
Yeah, same for me. Do you want to hop right into the song of the week?
What's the sequence? Is it What's Up Part 2 and then Song of the Week, or is it Song of the Week and then What's Up Part 2?
What's Up, Home Games, Song of the Week, What's Up Part 2, and then Home Games Part 2 if we have one.
I don't think we did that last. Whatever, pick one.
Let's do Song of the Week. Well, last week we had Home Games Part 2 and we've never had Home Games Part 2, so we definitely mix stuff up a little bit.
I don't know what it is. I heard what you just said, but it is so bad today. Like half of what you say cuts out.
Really?
Yeah. The internet's terrible. Like
we're getting closer to fix this problem.
It even you turned into a robot and your whole video stopped a little while ago, so I don't know if it's your connection or mine or what, but it is bad.
I don't know. I'm not downloading anything. I don't even have Steam open. I don't know. But Song of the Week.
Song of the Week. I have 2 songs that I enjoyed this week. I had multiple songs that I enjoyed this week, but I had 2 songs I considered for Song of the Week this week. One of them, the winner, it's called 5 to 50 by Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher is a rap man. He makes rap songs. He's from New York, and it's like this. Me and Shinobi were talking about this lately about rappers, because I used to be like rap got different, I guess. When I was much younger, I listened to a lot of 50 Cent, G Unit, and that kind of stuff. And my cousin listened to a bunch of like Dipset. So I was used to a lot of New York hip hop, like rappers. And then as time went on and hip hop got more poppy, I've lost, like, my attention span for hip hop has gotten shorter. So the only like lyrical hip hop I listen to, or not even lyrical, but just like I'm saying, rapper, guys who rap, that number has gone down. But my two really are Freddie Gibbs and Pusha T. Those are my two favorite rappers. Everything else is like yelpy, whatever, that type stuff, like Young Thug type music. Also, he makes fantastic songs, but you know what I mean? Anyway, different type of thing. So this dude, Benny the Butcher, he's another rapper, and 5 to 50 is a great song. He also has another one on that same album with Pusha T, who's another fantastic rapper. If you're trying to get into rap, Yazeed.
Mm-hmm. I like, I would like to get into rap. It's such an interesting genre that's so, like, regional. And I don't have very many genres that are that regional.
You should listen to Fake Names by Freddie Gibbs.
Fake Names by Freddie Gibbs.
I feel like if I had to pick one for an introduction to rap for you, that would be a good recent example.
Nice. I actually, the rap band that I do listen to is a rapper, I think.
What's
out
the
of
name?
DC? Odyssey.
I've heard of that person before.
Yeah, I like it. I think I might like East Coast rap more than I like West Coast rap.
Mm-hmm. You should listen to
we'll
like Flatbush Zombies or Joey Badass, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll give them a try.
There's a bunch of stuff.
Like, part of the thing is, like, I have been very into Australian indie pop lately, which sounds so stupid, but yeah, like, I like the indie pop scene in Australia right now. So I've been super into like anything out of there.
What's a good example of an Australian indie pop song that I can get into?
Groceries by Mallrats is Australian indie pop.
Okay, that song was okay. Is there like a? Are they all like that? I guess, or what's the genre?
No, Vera Blue. She's an artist out of there that I really like. Pretty much anything by her. I think I don't have Spotify open, so I'm gonna make some clicking noises. Hold, please.
I'm gonna have to edit out a lot of keyboard sounds, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, I was trying to do it while you were talking, and I wasn't saying anything, so that you could just mute my audio.
So I can edit out your audio track.
Yeah, you can just But there's gonna be some more typing right now, so I'm not gonna say anything for a second.
That's all right. I'm getting really good with Audacity. Generate silence, you know.
Yeah. Regular Touch and Give In are two songs by Vera Blue that I really like. She's really cool. Broods isn't Australian. They are New Zealand, but they are also a bop. A lot of their stuff is really cool. It's just like quite a few people, like Chet Faker / Marcus whatever. I think he's from Australia as well.
Are any of these people your song of the week, or is your song of the week not Australian indie pop? Ooh, switching it up.
Yeah, it is not Australian indie pop, but I was just letting you know, because that's what I have been into lately, is just some high-flying pop out of Australia. But my song of the week is actually also a bop, and I don't know where Future Generations is from, but it's Stars by Future Generations. But the EP version, they have two versions, and I like the EP version a lot more.
I'm gonna be keyboard sound person. Oh God, and I'm gonna look up Future Generations.
You should, because I actually don't know anything about them. They showed up on my Spotify like recommended, and I listened to it, and I was like, ooh, I like this a lot. And it's just been like on repeat at work all day, every day.
I have found their Spotify page. I will likely listen to something from these people after. we record this.
Heck yeah. Last week you recommended I listen to Maxwell's Silver Hammer or Helter Skelter by the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I did not get a chance to listen to either of them.
Oh my
so next
God.
week I will have listened to them.
This guy. I also sent you a Lil Peep song. We'll see if you like that.
I listened to the Little Peep song on the air.
Did you?
Yeah. I told you it was pretty good.
Life is Beautiful? You listened to that on the thing? I thought I sent that after the thing was over.
No. You said it during because I had it written down in my notes.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, the Beatles and Lil Peep. It's a good combo.
Interesting combination. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I like I've been really into bops lately. Just like something that has like some high energy and is just in an uplifting mood.
Let me see if I have any recent bops for me to suggest to you. No, I don't have anything. I have no recent bops. Yeah, I don't know. This playlist is huge. We should probably, well, whatever. I have a Spotify playlist. One day when someone who listens to this is like, "Wow, Joseph, your taste in music is perfect. Where can I get more?" I'll post up my playlist.
Your Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
Do you maintain multiple playlists or just one?
I have a few, but I really only add and listen to one. I kind of have one ongoing playlist that has all of my favorite songs throughout my whole life, and then I listen to new stuff and add it to this playlist. It's like the only thing I listen to on repeat.
Yeah, buddy. I do the exact same thing. I have one playlist with like 2,000 songs in it. Just like it's anything that I found and I was like, this one's good.
Yeah.
I put it in there.
Yeah, I try to do some separation. I have one where it's like, oh, well, this is my workout playlist, and this is my driving playlist. But then I realized that my driving and workout playlists have like a 90% overlap. And then I realized just because my taste is very limited to like one type of music, and all that kind of stuff can go in one playlist.
My playlist is kind of all over the place. And at the very beginning, it was definitely like more heavy hard rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you slowly see the transition to like EDM and electronica. And now we're on the other side where it's just like it's
pure
mostly
softy,
like indie pop and yeah. Like the only songs that have kind of snuck in there aside from that was I got into French hip hop for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I have Stroma and Hugo TSR on there and Grand Corps Malady, and which is his is spoken word, which is actually kind of fun to listen to.
So it's just a man speaking French and you don't know what he's saying, but you listen to it.
But his voice is so good.
Okay.
It's like a deep, handsome man voice.
Crazy that you like French hip hop more than you like French fries.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I got into it when one of he's Belgian, but he raps in French. Well, he sings French, raps in French, whatever. He's his song was like the World Cup song, Tafiet. Which I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly or not, but yeah, and that was kind of like my introduction to him.
Yeah, well, you lost me at World Cup song.
I know.
I'm just joking.
You might not be a developer if you watch sports. You ready to hop into What's Up Part 2?
Sure. What's Up Part 2?
So first things first, I got something to say. The Australian Open's going on, which is tennis, and it has been a banger. Federer, who is my idol and hero, if I could grow up to be like somebody, I would want to grow up to be like him, almost lost. And then he pulled it out and he won, and that's awesome.
So this is sports?
It is sports.
Okay, tell me about this. Tell me about sports.
Yeah, so every year in tennis, there are four, like, the biggest tournaments of the year. There's four of them. Okay. There isn't, like, a World Series or whatever, or like a Super Bowl. There's just four tournaments, and they're across different types of courts. So the Australian Open is the first one, and it is on a hard court. It's traditionally the fastest court, it's the faster of the two hard court surfaces.
Okay.
Which makes it really interesting to watch if you like watching attacking tennis, which I do. Then after that is the French Open, which is on the slowest surface, which is clay, and Rafael Nadal, who is perhaps the best player who will ever play on clay, possibly like for the rest of eternity. He's won like, I think he's won like 20 of the last 23 he's participated in. And so like, it's insane. Like he's won just so many. It's nuts. And he's so good at it. But it's the most defensive surface. So defensive players play really well there. And then what's considered the most like prestigious, it has like the most like honor associated with it, is Wimbledon, which is the third one. It's on grass. It's the fastest court, although they've made some changes to slow it down a little bit over the last few years.
When you say it's a fast court, do you mean because of the terrain it's on, or what makes something fast or slow?
So when I say a fast court, I mean the speed at which your ball bounces off the ground is faster or slower.
Is that because of the terrain or because of the distance?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all the courts the same size, but on grass the ball has less friction on the ground, so it's just a lot faster off the floor. And then concrete's the second one, and clay's the slowest, so when the ball hits, it sticks a little bit and then pops out again. You leave little divots in the clay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff about that. But yeah, it's Wimbledon's like the most prestigious because it's like the first one or whatever. And the one that pays out the most is the US Open, which is on the other hard court, and it's the last tournament of the year. But yeah, right now and for the last like I don't know how long, the top 3 players on the men's side have been some order of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic, and it's just been crazy.
Well, cool. That was the Home Game Sports Minute, sponsored by Yazeed.
Sponsored by Yazeed. I will bring those up whenever there's a big, interesting tournament happening or something I'm super into. Tennis is my number 1 sport. Soccer is number 2. Hockey is number 3. And we go down from there.
Yeah.
And it's probably like rugby, maybe.
Your least favorite sport is baseball, right?
God, I hate watching baseball.
That hurts my soul. But
you don't like watching baseball.
I like going to baseball games. Like we've been to a few Mariners games. We've been to several Mariners games. We've lost most of them, but you know, they're still fun to be at. I just like being at baseball games.
So I think I had a bad experience with my first like at the game thing, because at the time DARE, like you remember like the DARE program?
Yeah.
The Don't Do Drugs. They took us out to a baseball game.
Yeah.
And it was hot and I was not happy.
Did you ever do GREAT? People talk about DARE a lot, but I also did GREAT.
What's GREAT?
Gang Resistance Education and Training.
That's somewhat racist that you did that and I did not.
But you're the brown one.
I know, but it's the last name thing, I think, because I did not do GREAT.
I don't even know where I did it at, if it was like a summer program or if it was a school thing, but I had multiple things from GREAT, and I thought they were like the same thing. It's like DARE would come at you one day and tell you not to smoke weed, and then GREAT would tell you to not smoke weed and don't shoot people. It's like, okay, seems reasonable.
Yeah. I don't know. I never even heard of GREAT before. This is the first time hearing about it.
Maybe I was considered at risk by some organization that I don't know.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah. DARE is kind of stupid, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The only presence DARE has today is people ironically wearing DARE t-shirts just to like tell the world they do drugs because they think that's cool and funny. It kind of is.
Funny, actually. It kind of is, yeah. I'm kind of into that.
But yeah, anytime you see someone wearing a DARE t-shirt, guarantee they don't believe in that lifestyle.
They're not straight edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember any of the things that DARE told us, but I only remotely remember that baseball game. What I remember most about it actually is that my teacher at the time didn't know I was vegetarian. And so all he got for us to eat were hot dogs. And so I drank 4 orange juices in order to keep my body going.
Maybe that's why you hate baseball.
I think so.
You should go to a baseball game. You should go to a Diamondbacks game. Diamondbacks, like I went to a Diamondbacks game when I was in Phoenix last year. And it was actually awesome. Not even a Diamondbacks fan.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of sports stuff I'd like to see, though. Like, and baseball's kind of low.
I don't know. I think sporting events in general are fine. Like, I've never been to a soccer game, but the, what's the soccer team out here everybody freaks out about? Sounders.
Sounders, yeah.
Like, you know, there's a lot of love, I guess, for all that stuff. So I think it'd be fun to go to a game, even though I do not care about the game of soccer.
Oh, homie, there's something better than that. All right, 4 years from now, there will be a World Cup. I think it's 4 years from now. Or is it 2 years from now? But anyway, there's gonna be a World Cup that's gonna cover the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. We're gonna share, so you can go and see World Cup matches.
But that sounds terrible.
What?
Yeah. People lose their mind for the World Cup. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be around soccer fans because they'll be like, hey, how about the soccer? And I'll be like, oh, I'm just here to watch. And they'll be like, they'll freak out because I'm not on their team or whatever.
No. Go with, or listen, your Team USA, because USA will probably get in this year and you can be Team USA. And if they don't get in this year, you can just be like, my last name, Team Mexico. And there you go. You really don't have to be into soccer to watch the World Cup. I'm very into soccer. My team is Germany because their play style, which makes me lame.
Like, actually care about the sport and stuff. I just want to
like care about like the tactics, the decision making, the strategy, the players, like all that stuff. I think is interesting.
I just want a reason to do a USA chant wearing a full-on American flag outfit. We have different wants, you know.
Yeah. I took summer classes at the U of A one year, and it was the World Cup year. And I was at the student union eating lunch, and they had the matches on, and the U.S. was playing Germany. And everyone there was watching and cheering for Germany. And I was getting excited, and Germany scored a goal. And I stood up and was like, yeah! And everyone looked at me like, I'll kill you myself. But I was wearing like a Germany t-shirt. Like I had like Germany, like huge plastered across my chest. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's my team. And they were just like, whatever.
What a nerd.
Yeah. Get excited for the little things, man. What's happening part 2, man?
What's happening part 2 with me? I've been playing a bunch of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That game is awesome.
You actually picked it up. All right.
Yeah, I'm like 5 hours into that game. I also played. I beat Rico. I told you about Rico last week. I turned the difficulty down to easy just because I felt like I needed to. Because I was playing on medium before. There's an achievement for playing it on hard, and that's too much. And then easy is whatever. I just wanted to see the end of it. It turns out at the end of it is like a screen of text. It's a paragraph on the screen. It's just like, you did this one, but there's more out there. That's it.
Oh.
There's no story. I mean, the game is, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, beat Rico. There's also a survival mode in there. I was playing some of for the achievements. Because I don't do Xbox achievements anymore because I'm not 15, but I still have a love, like an eternal love for achievements and completion of that stuff. So this morning, actually just like 30 minutes before we started recording, I was playing Rico, but then I uninstalled it because I got all the achievements I'm going to get.
Oh my god, you uninstalled the game?
I uninstalled it because I'm running out of hard drive space.
Oh man.
And I got to get ready for Doom Eternal.
Super rare. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. But
Doom Eternal is the next game I'm going to get for sure. 100%.
Oh yeah. Very excited about that. I don't know. I don't know. Dragon Ball Z is really cool. I just finished like the first episode of that, and it definitely is just the Dragon Ball Z story, like I thought it was last week. I watched a video about it because I don't know. I spent a lot of time on YouTube. I watched a video about it, and this dude was basically just kind of going through this whole thing about the game and the story of how it was made and whatever. And anyway, it is just a retelling of Dragon Ball Z's story, which I'm kind of down for because I just know, generally speaking, the characters and what happens, but I don't know the Dragon Ball Z story. So it's kind of a good way for me to experience that. Gameplay's kind of repetitive, though. It's like you just fight guys over and over again. And I'm currently at a point in the story where I'm just playing as Gohan and kind of just fighting guys, going around and fighting guys. That seems to be the game. But like you do a side quest and it's like, hey, I need you to go and collect this for me. And somehow you end up fighting him because the conversation goes to, I think I'm strong. You trained under whoever? Yeah. Oh, let's try out your thing. And then you just fight them. You're stronger than I thought. That's it.
You know what? Unironically, Dragon Ball Z is kind of like that, though. Like, it's just pretty much what that show is like,
I'm down for it, though. And like you said, about like, oh, his power level, oh, it's whatever. That is what it is. There's the part in the story. I guess this isn't spoilers because that show's like 20 years old. But when Piccolo kills Goku and Raditz in order to whatever, kill Raditz for the first time, and then when Goku comes back during that whole thing, while Piccolo and Gohan and all of them are trying to fight Vegeta and that big dude, I forget his name, Nappa, and that whole part, and it's just like, oh, I'm reading a super high power level. This can't be possible. And you know that Goku's coming back, right? And that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what? It's 5,000. And then I'm just like waiting. I'm waiting for it's over 9,000, obviously, for whatever that part that is. But yeah, just hearing anybody talk about power levels makes me laugh now.
Yeah.
It's cool though. I'm down for it. I really like Dragon Ball Z. So I'm having fun with that. I'll probably end up finishing that game because, like I said, I'm 5 hours in, and for me personally, once I cross over like 2 hours, I'm probably down for that game to keep playing it. Otherwise, I won't pick it up for years.
Yeah. Are you planning on watching Dragon Ball Z now?
I went and I watched the scene where all that stuff really happens, where Piccolo really does kill, from the show, Raditz and Goku. And I don't know, probably I have access to the show and I would like to watch it, so we'll see how I feel once I'm done beating this game. If I want to see the TV version of the same story, because I am gonna see the same story, or if I'll watch like the abridged version, like you mentioned, and then kind of go on to Super or GT or whatever I do from there, or get burnt out on the universe and pick up something else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something about that, like, I don't know what it is about Japanese animation. Just, I really like the way that characters emote and the way that stuff moves and like the style of it. Something about it just, I want to keep watching more. I like it a lot,
I think I understand a little bit, yeah.
I don't know. The style is very interesting to me, I guess. That's why I want to get into anime. I want to get into anime.
Yeah, you gotta find one that you actually like. There are some that I think are really cool, like I've enjoyed watching, but they're kind of few and far between.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's my 2020 goal, is to find anime that I like.
I think that's a worthy goal. That's just like basically finding some medium that, like, finding something that you like a show or a TV or like a movie or something.
Yeah, but particularly like animated stuff, because I watch, I don't know, I have a lot of shows that I like to watch. Like I find myself watching reruns of stuff of How I Met Your Mother or The Office or Shark Tank, Bar Rescue, Kitchen Nightmares. There's shows I just really like, so I'll always watch them, but that's all time I could be spending doing something new. And there's a lot of things that are unique in anime, and I want to kind of explore that whole thing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any recommendations for you. I would just start watching something maybe, but
I have One Punch Man on Blu-ray. I'll probably just go through that, like the first season, because it's only 10 episodes or something.
Yeah. I have been thinking a lot about my position of not rewatching movies, actually.
Yeah, you should watch movies again. Movies are good.
Yeah, I don't know. Because for the longest time, I felt like I got everything I wanted to get out of a movie the first time. But lately, I've been finding myself wanting to rewatch movies, and then when I rewatch it, I get like sometimes I get nothing out of it, and I never want to rewatch that movie again.
Yeah. And
sometimes I get like just a little bit, and it's like, oh, delicious, like just like a little bit more of that universe that I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to maintain my position of not watching a movie again, or not watching a TV show after I finish it.
That just seems wild to me. It's like on the same level as I won't hear a song again because I absorbed what I needed to, just because it's short. Like 3 minutes versus 90 minutes, I understand there's a difference, but it's just, it's art meant for entertainment for the most part.
Yeah.
So like you should be able to go back to it. That means that you like it. You could like things.
Well, it's not that I don't like things, but like, I don't know. I think fundamentally experiencing a movie that you really like the first time changes you as a person. And watching it a second time won't change you again. If that makes sense.
I don't know. I think it's like I've seen Half Baked maybe 30 times. And I just go back to it and I watch it because I enjoy watching it. Like those 90 minutes I spend watching it, I have a good time. Mm-hmm. Versus 90 minutes doing whatever else. Like, you know, ideally I limit stuff so I'm not constantly just watching the same movies over and over again because then I don't do anything new. It's kind of what I'm trying to avoid now with anime stuff. By getting into anime stuff, I mean. But, like, it seems wild to me to just have a policy, like an arbitrary policy, just because to say, I don't watch something twice. Like, would you watch a YouTube video twice?
No.
Ever? But you watch Vines. You've seen Vines multiple times.
Not on purpose. I watch Vine compilations, but I don't watch, like, them over. I just happen to have seen them because a lot of compilations are the same Vines.
What about?
So I just, like, skip through some of the ones that I've known.
In, like, 5 years, when we're talking about Arrival or something. You've seen Arrival, right?
I haven't. That's on my list of movies to see, and I just missed the boat on it when it was in theaters and haven't come around to it.
You should watch Arrival. I love that movie.
I heard the movie's insanely good.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like I don't know. I think that movie's super cool. But yeah, it's like in the future, if you want to talk about it, it's like, oh, remember that scene where... Oh, no, I don't remember that scene where that happens. Oh, well, you should watch it again. And it's like, no, well, I've seen it already. I know I like it. It's like you have to refresh yourself because you're not going to remember everything from every movie you've ever seen.
You're right. Well, to me, I feel like it's less about knowing, like, what happened in the movie and more like on an emotional level, like how will I attach to it. Like that's the thing, like I'm gonna go back to this one, like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I don't think it's a good movie. I've never rewatched it, but that movie is my favorite movie of all time, but I have no interest in seeing it again.
That is so crazy to me. It's like, how do you know it's your favorite if you can't go? Because what if the memory of how good it was is affected by time? Like you put on your whatever rose tinted goggles, because if you just associate the memory and the feeling at the time to the movie, then you think that you liked that thing, but you might have just liked that time of your life.
See, the thing is, though, is that when I saw The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, like, it changed what I wanted to, like, how I wanted to be as a person. And so, like, because of that movie, I've changed so much that if I went back to see it, I know for sure I wouldn't like it that much.
But then...
So, I think it can be your favorite thing, even if you don't like it that much. Because I think that movie changed me as a person. Therefore, it's my favorite one because I like who I am now more than I liked who I was there. And I know that movie was like the catalyst for that change. Like that movie was like when it made me realize like what I wanted to change.
But then that's not the favorite movie. That's like your favorite time of your life because of the movie. It's a different thing. Like if I go to
maybe
I love the movie Insidious. I think it's a scary movie. I think it's well made. I like the way it looks. I like the characters. I think it ends poorly, but I like the movie. I know that I am not being fair in the way I treat that movie because I will forever associate it to the memory of my first date with Synovia. So I don't know if I can say I love that movie because of the movie or because I love that movie because it was a fun night and that was a fun time of my life because, you know, obviously it was like a different type of thing for me. So like I should watch Insidious again and then think, okay, well, do I really like this movie like I do in my head, or is this actually bad? It's not bad.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. My argument is a little bit different though, because I connected with the main character. I connected with Walter Mitty at the time because I was similar to him. Like I'd have like, at the time, for example, like I always imagined what going hiking would be like. Or like being out an outdoorsy person would be like. And in my head, like I daydream about that. And then after watching that movie, like that whole movie is basically about a person who's stuck in like their daydream world becoming like a person who does the things that they used to daydream about. And so for me, that was like, I was Walter Mitty, and now I'm at the end. And to look back at it would be basically to put myself back in like who I used to be's shoes of like just daydreaming and then getting back to where I was right now. So to me, it's like, there's no reason to go back and rewatch it because I'm already changed as a person. Like I already do outdoorsy stuff. Like I already do the things I used to daydream about for the most part. There are only a couple of things that I don't do yet.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, we saw Bad Boys 3 last week on Sunday, I think. And then we saw, I wanted to see 1917, so we saw that this Wednesday. Have you seen anything from 1917?
Okay, I really want to watch 1917, like a lot, but I did not watch it yet.
I think you'd enjoy it since you're like a history nerd and you like Europe. I don't like Europe or history, but I like that movie.
It's not like I like Europe more than other places. They just, tend to like the same things as me.
I just know you like European weird stuff like soccer, and also you did well in AP Euro, and both of those things are the opposite of me. So it's a bunch of dudes with accents with World War One guns. It's the opposite of my kind of thing, but I actually liked it quite a bit.
Nice. I really want to see that movie. I like a lot. I think I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. It was cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff about it. I think the like least interesting thing for me was the actual story, like the movie itself. But there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Bad Boys 3 also incredible, like surprisingly awesome. I didn't have high hopes after so many years since the second one. I thought it'd be like a cash grab, just Martin Lawrence needs his check type thing. But no, it was actually really good. Like, dang, right. I'm happy they made that movie. I don't know. That's about it. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know if you have. No,
please don't. I will probably watch both of those movies.
Yeah, and they're both kind of the same thing. It's a story about like two friends trying to overcome some sort of challenge. It's just very different.
Yeah, I want to watch 1917 so bad I might just go tonight.
You want to watch 1917, but what your thing cut out?
So bad I might just go tonight. Like after this, like just go shower and go.
Yeah, you should. I think the reason I liked it so much is because of the experience of watching it in a theater, because it is such like a, the way it's shot and the way it looks and all that kind of stuff and the sound and all that. It's a great way to watch it. Otherwise, you just watch the story. But yeah, no, we watched it on Wednesday because I was looking at showtimes and they didn't have any available from Thursday on, and I was thinking we would do this weekend. But when I saw that wasn't possible, I kind of convinced Shinobi to go with me on a Wednesday because she wouldn't. That's not her kind of movie, so whatever. But then I realized after we had seen it that they just hadn't updated the website yet, and they still have showtimes right now. So we rushed to watch it for nothing, but it's all right.
But you did get to see it, and there's all this hype around it too. So you got to see a hype movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Before I got hyped up for you, because I know what happens. Usually movies get hyped up for you, and then you never watch them.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really been following. One of the things I think that I've done this year so far that has improved my life significantly is I deleted the Reddit app from my phone. So I don't have easy access to my subreddits and all that kind of stuff. I'm logged out of Reddit on, I think, all my devices. I have to specifically like log in and whatever. And it's made me use Reddit and my phone less, which is nice. And therefore, I don't see a lot of that stuff. I know that there was a movies thread about 1917. So after I saw the movie, I went and looked it up. But I didn't really even know anything about the movie before I saw it, it's a good way to live. Yeah,
that probably is a good way to live. I want to try that. I want to unsubscribe from like a bunch of stuff, so it's just like the bare minimum of things that I'm like super hyper interested in, and then just go from there.
Yeah. Well, me, I directly go to hip hop heads a lot, so I don't have to be logged in for that. But if I'm not logged in, I can't comment, I can't upvote, I can't whatever. So I kind of, by the result of me being so lazy and not wanting to log in, I have to become less engaged because I can't do so much on Reddit. And Reddit is very useful, it's very entertaining, but oh my god, I waste so much time on Reddit, and so much of it like makes me mad.
In school I had to block out Reddit at the IP level on the router. Yeah,
that's smart. Well, yeah, in like 2014 when we did, I think it was Dr. K that algorithms class or whatever it was, discrete structures.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was on Reddit that entire time, basically. Like, I didn't absorb any info in that whole class. And I would argue that's one of the most important classes to have absorbed info.
Definitely at the, like, theoretical level, yes. I think it's that one or Automata. Like,
yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah, like, Automata seems hella boring. If you're in college and you listen to this and you're in Automata, it's very important. You will learn how to write programs from that class.
I didn't learn. My takeaways from Automata are that everything that I write can technically be something else, and then you can prove it mathematically, and that's amazing. And I don't understand it, and I'll never apply it. That was my takeaway from Automata.
I think just understanding the, like, DFA format where it's like state, action takes you another state, action takes you another state, and just, like, learning that is what coding is, like, at a fundamental level was a lot for me.
What was the cycle? It's like a DFA can become an NFA, can become a something, can become like a regex, can become something else. You're just like, what? This is insane.
Yeah, there's like a whole set. Well, all DFAs can become NFAs. All NFAs cannot become DFAs.
Yeah, because you could take the deterministic and make it non-deterministic, but once it's non-deterministic, you can't add the...
Yeah, you can't make it. Well, you can alter it to become deterministic, but you don't have the same automata anymore. Because in an NFA, you can be in two or more. You can be in more than one state at a time.
Everything becomes a set of possible states and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like amazing, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my takeaway. And I think all that is just a really intimidating way to describe a state machine. And someone like without having a CS background can understand that system has a state, system receives input, and system gives output. And that's why I like hate school because it made everything so hard.
Yeah, it kind of does. To go back on another topic, though, back to the movies and anime topic, I saw Weathering with You, which is the anime movie that had like a limited U.S. release last week.
Your whole thing cut out. You saw what that had a limited U.S. release?
Weathering with You. It was the anime movie.
Oh, nice. How was that?
I thought it was okay.
You said it was supposed to be sad, right?
It is supposed to be sad.
Was it sad?
I watch a lot of sad things. I really am into sad things. I read sad books, watch sad things, listen to sad music. And I didn't find it like super sad, but it was kind of sad. For the lay person, it was sad. If you're like in there like me, like watching sad stuff every day, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm hardcore sad, so for a lot of casual sad people, they might be.
I'm an elitist for sad things just because that's my primary thing I consume. But yeah, it was a good movie, actually. I liked it. The art was really cool. It's like what you were saying, like the way they express and emote and stuff like that was really interesting. Like the way they talked to each other was pretty cool. I felt like it showed a different side of Tokyo than most people like don't think about. Like if you don't make money and you live in Tokyo, what would that be like? And I thought that was really cool. Just thematically, I felt like there was some weaknesses in the movie, though. Like, just from, like, the theme and the way that they structured the story, and I think, like, around the theme that they were going for. Just some of the decision-making felt a little weird, but whatever. Movies. I'm not a Japanese director who's made millions, so... Well, I don't know, obviously, what I'm doing.
So you'd say not sad enough, but interesting enough?
I thought it was super interesting. Like, if I was going to give you like a quick pitch on the movie, it's basically what would happen if in a major city it rained every day. Hard.
That's it?
For months. And that's what that movie's about.
Okay. Weathering with You?
Weathering with You. That's right.
Okay.
It was like a super interesting concept. I liked it. I left that movie going like, wow, what an interesting world this person built. But at the same time, I was like, I felt like it could be better. Mm-hmm. But I also have no idea what the target demographic is on that movie. If it's like kids, if that's a kids movie, totally fine then. That movie's supposed to be like for adults or like young adults. Like I feel like it should have been a little bit more, have more oomph in it, you know?
A little bit more emotion.
Well, are you gonna watch the movie? Because I can spoil some of it.
Maybe. I mean, if I find it on this anime path I'm trying to go down.
Okay.
Would you recommend I watch it? I'm into sad stuff, but not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a good movie overall. Like, I'd rate it pretty highly. I just think that there was some parts of it that I don't like.
Maybe I'll.
I think that might just be me.
I'll watch it and we'll have a Home Games Anime Minute right next to our Home Games Sports Minute.
If I ever get to go to a sports event, that's gonna be what's happening. It's gonna be all about.
Yeah, and I'll just sleep throughout the whole thing, and you'll let me know when you're done. Or it's one other thing we didn't mention is that Yazeed now has access. Did you get the invite thing I sent you to the podcast?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Yazeed has access to the podcast, so if I get hit by a bus and Yazeed doesn't, then this thing will still be going, ideally.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will maintain it to the best of my ability.
Yeah. But then if he gets hit by a bus, then we're kind of screwed.
I'm going to be honest, if you get hit by a bus, me getting hit by a bus is not out of the realm of possibility. I don't remember the last time somebody stopped me while walking anyway. I went for a run yesterday. I ran past people. They didn't even stop to say hello to me. They just were like, whatever, this guy's running.
You typically wouldn't say hello to a guy running.
Hey, you give him like a nod or something, yeah?
I don't know. I avoid eye contact with people. Because then it's like that weird thing where someone else is looking at you in the eyes, and then you have to maintain eye contact to be like, why are you looking at me in the eyes? And then you're just staring down a stranger in the middle of the street, and it's just like, no.
While running towards them.
Yeah, maybe not the best look.
That actually would be kind of intimidating if somebody was making direct eye contact with me and running towards me. I'd panic, I think.
Yeah, depends on what you're wearing. If you're wearing running gear, then it's like, okay. If you're wearing like jeans and a t-shirt, it's like, oh my god, this man's just running full speed.
Do you remember homeboy who used to run around campus, like just sprint around campus and collect dirt?
In high school?
In college.
I don't remember collecting dirt.
He'd collect garbage.
Oh, yeah. I remember that guy. Good on him, he had a noble cause.
He had a noble cause, but why the hell was he running?
There's a lot of trash to pick up, not a lot of time to pick it up.
Interesting choices, all I'm saying. But he used to run around in like jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And a backpack.
Yeah, but that's a certain kind of look where he's the running kid. Yeah. Everybody's got true. One. There was a runner in high school. There was a runner in college, and they always.
Who was a runner in high school?
I don't know. I think he went to the other school that we didn't go to on campus, but it was the. It was. There's always a runner.
It was as long as that's something I was supposed to know. It's all good.
No, I don't think we knew.
I don't think I knew anyone who used to run anyway.
But yeah, there's some interesting characters. There was also a shirtless DDR guy in college.
Shirtless DDR guy, Garth.
Yeah,
Garth himself.
Anyway.
People who don't know, his name isn't actually Garth, and I don't know what his real name really was, but he looked like a Garth. Whatever you're imagining a Garth looks like.
He looked like that, yeah. Like sweaty with long hair. That's a Garth for sure. And he was a Garth, no doubt.
Homeboy was a Garth.
Yeah.
Homeboy was a Garth.
You just see your mouth.
We're going to switch servers to US Central again. And hope that this fixes the problem. Is that better?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Does Discord say that you're talking when you talk? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Nothing's coming through.
It lights up green.
I don't know. I am on Wi-Fi.
Anyway.
But.
I don't think that. I don't know. We've been having these problems
since the
continuously.
Beginning.
So it might also be just like the way that you and I connected to Discord.
Maybe it's just Discord. You can't expect it to be perfect all the time.
Yeah, it is.
We've been talking for 2 hours.
It's a free service. Yeah.
It's a free service, and we're like multiple states away. We're also streaming video, which that takes up more bandwidth than audio, so it might be.
That is true. Maybe what we should do is get Discord Nitro.
That'd be an investment into the business.
It would be.
And I have had enough of those for a while. Because all these are personal expenses. We don't even have an LLC to put all these things into. I'm just. This is
for tax purposes.
This is all technically an expensive hobby for me. Anyway,
Yeah. Are you ready to close out the What's Up part 2?
Yeah, isn't that like the whole thing? That's like the whole podcast.
No, I have some ending questions for you.
Oh my. Big surprise. Okay. I'm ready for these are rapid fire questions.
These are my rapid fire questions.
Okay, because we haven't had the rapid fire song in a little bit. I like that song. It comes in very hot. It's like...
It does. All right, this is the rapid fire section. All right. Would you eat banana plus jalapeno? Just diced jalapeno, diced banana in a bowl, and you got to eat it with a fork or your hands.
I have to eat it with a fork?
Yeah.
Like
or a spoon, I suppose.
I need to know.
But like for every bite of banana, you have to get a bite of jalapeno. You can't eat like all the banana and then all the jalapeno.
You have to set up the universe for me. In what world is this presented to me? Where am I? What is the am I just voluntarily seeking this combination? And you're asking if I would voluntarily seek the combination?
Let's say that when you went to tell Synovia's dad that you were going to propose to Synovia, right?
Okay.
And he was like, "That's fine, but in our house, in our family, there's a tradition. A man proposing into this family must eat a bowl of jalapeno and banana." And it's just like 2 bananas and 4 jalapenos diced together into a bowl.
Do I have to eat?
And he hands you a fork and he says, like, if you want to marry Synovia, you have to eat this.
Do I have to eat one bite, or can I eat like all the banana and then all the jalapeno?
No, you gotta eat it all together. You gotta eat it together. Like, you can't eat just all the banana then jalapeno. You gotta take like banana jalapeno, or like 2 banana, 2 jalapeno, or like 2 banana and a jalapeno, or some combination.
Synovia's dad already kind of makes me eat very spicy things when I'm in their house. He's just like, "Hey, try this. It's not that bad," and it's always very bad because his tolerance for spice is very high. So I'm kind of already there, and I really love bananas. And if for some reason this was a requirement to get married to Synovia, I suppose I'd have to. It sounds like a bad combo, but it also sounds like the banana texture might cool off the jalapeno, especially if there's seeds in there. It might be necessary for them to be combined in order to create a correct experience for me.
You know what? That's a really good point. I didn't think about it.
Because I mean, like, I can eat a jalapeno just fine. It's a lot. It's very intense, I suppose. But if I have a banana there, it would cool off the mouth. And banana is very mushy. I can eat a banana very quickly. And a jalapeno too, there's not much I really need to chew on in there. I just need to kind of break it up. So if the goal is just to get that in my body as fast as possible, I can mush all that stuff up and just kind of go for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be terrible, but I can do it.
Do you think the flavors would work or no?
I really don't. I really don't think those flavors would work. That sounds terrible.
Fair enough. All right, and then I have one other question on
You're just going to ask me that question? What's the reasoning? Where did that come from? Did you have a person who ate that combination?
No. God, no.
Would you enjoy that combination? You're just going to...
No, I hate bananas. I absolutely hate bananas.
How do you hate bananas?
I think that they're... so there's actually a story around that. When my brother first started getting into working out... Am I cutting out, by the way? Am I good?
Not right now. You're good.
Okay, cool. So when my brother first started working out, he was making protein shakes, and it was one of the first protein shakes he made for breakfast. And he told, at the time I was like supposed to work out with him. So what he did was he took just whole milk, poured it into the blender, 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, 2 scoops of protein powder, and 2 bananas, and he mixed that all together, and what ended up coming out was just this and ice, and it was just like this super thick, dense, like, it was more like Play-Doh than like a protein shake, and I had to drink it, and I've hated bananas since then.
That just sounds like a bad shake experience, similar to how your baseball experience was poor.
Yeah, but it's kind of like tinged my feelings about bananas.
This is the theme. You connect your favorite movie to your experience at the time watching the movie, and you connect everything to the experience around it. You can't blame things on your life, Yazeed. You have to look at the things as they are by themselves. Bananas are amazing. Just because Reese messed it up once.
Okay, look. I do a fruit of the week every week, and I buy one fruit, and I consume it for the rest of that week, and then I switch on to a different fruit. So next week, so tomorrow, I will get bananas, and I will eat a banana every day of the week.
That's a commitment.
And I'll see how it goes. But I do have one other rapid-fire question for you. Mm-hmm. If you had to explore an abandoned building, what type of abandoned building would you want to explore?
Do you have an answer for this?
I do.
You go while I think.
A zoo.
Why a zoo?
I think exploring an abandoned zoo would be insane.
Why though?
Like, you get to go into like all the animal exhibits and like see the back, like the inner workings of the whole zoo. Also, zoos are massive and have like all kinds of stuff going on. It's like an abandoned zoo, I'm sure, has like all kinds of interesting things.
What about, I mean, why is it abandoned? Isn't there some mystery to the zoo, you know?
That's right. There is also some mystery to the zoo.
Like a dead alien or something in the zebra exhibit?
Yeah, there's gotta be something weird. Like, you go back there and there's just like a pile of like lion skulls or something. And you're just like, whoa. And then at the top of the pile of lion skulls is just an elephant statue. And you're just like, what's going on here? Like, I'm sure you'd find some weird stuff at a zoo.
Yeah, but then
abandoned zoo, not like a regular zoo.
But what if you're not the only one at the zoo?
You probably aren't the only one. Zoos are like an enclosure meant for animals to live in. So I'm sure like vagrants and stuff would also seek shelter at the zoo.
Yeah, but I meant something more interesting instead of like a guy just asleep. But
like the animals are still in the zoo
or something. I don't know. The mystery of the
like
zoo.
The polar bears are like roaming the zoo, hunting down all the other animals.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's abandoned, then why? I mean, the animals were there, you know. It's like, did the animals all decide to just leave together? I doubt it. Yeah. Or maybe people left because the animals escaped, and then they started their own like animal kingdom, you know, animal society.
Oh, and then you're trespassing?
Yeah, and then you see like a bear with a shotgun comes out, or get off my property type thing, and you're just like,
that's a good bear with a shotgun voice.
Thank you.
That's a good point. You know what? I stand behind my zoo answer specifically because you just made it even cooler.
Yeah, I
just think exploring an abandoned zoo would be interesting. That just makes it cooler.
For mine, I'm trying to think of like interesting places, because if it's abandoned, I'm not interested in animals so much, or like living things. So I'd be interested in the things. But then if the place is abandoned, people would probably take most interesting things of value. So then I guess my answer would be something related to the place itself. And for whatever reason, I think I'm into old churches or just religious buildings in general, just like the way that they're shaped, the architecture, and like, I don't know, like the church I used to go to, or kind of in Catholicism in general, there's a lot of like stained glass art and all that kind of stuff. And I think, I mean, that stuff would probably be left over if the place was abandoned. So just to kind of admire the way that those old buildings look. And I think the creepiness of no one else being there would make it even weirder. And like all of the religious, you know, the kind of like, you know, there's like a religious vibe in religious places. There's like a weight that you feel in there. So that kind of feeling of like, is that presence the Lord, or, you know, like a guy sleeping kind of thing would make it fun.
In The Long Dark, the video game The Long Dark, that you do actually get to seek shelter in an abandoned church.
Nice.
And it is so, it's like a surreal experience almost to be in there.
Yeah.
Because like there's the pews and there's like books, and like that place is just like wrecked and ravaged. And it just feels so like, you're right, that it feels weighty to be in a church like that.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I don't know. But it'd be more, my point is it's about the place, not really about the things or what that place, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Another one for me would be an aquarium, an abandoned aquarium.
Well, but those fish can't get up and leave. So then it would just be water full of dead sea life.
Exactly. Think of how creepy it would be. Because some of those fish aren't going to die because they're eating the other dead fish. And so you're going to have like a couple of like big fish.
Alpha predator fish.
Yeah, like the alpha predator fish.
Or apex predator.
And also you'd find like, you'd find like exhibits where the like imagine going through the shark tunnel and you just see like the last shark chilling and he sees you and you see him and you're just like hello, and also like the structural degradation.
Yeah.
Like, like if you're taking the shark tunnel, like, you're like, this could break and I might be in a cage with a shark that's very hungry and has been eating everything else in this cage.
But if it's like this thing is in a body of water and I am not, if this thing falls apart, then this thing can't breathe. And I'll probably be fine unless there's so much water it fills up whatever thing I'm in as well.
Yeah, but if you're in the shark tunnel, you're definitely going to get stuck in that.
Yeah, but I think that initial little, like, this shark can't maneuver because the water is all falling out type thing. It's like this thing isn't going to just be free flowing with the water, you know? It's going to kind of flop out and get disoriented. And then I'll make my run for it from this shark, this starving shark. You also have to catch it at the right time because, I mean, how abandoned is it, you know? You're saying you caught it just at the time where the shark just finished eating the last other remaining living thing. You know?
Yeah.
You got it. That's the right time.
That's valid.
Yeah.
You'd also see like just some absolute ruined rooms, like the glass broke and like all the water in there spilled out, and so you have just like a big pool of water in a room.
Hell yeah. A big pool of water in a room. That's the biggest, coolest thing I can find in an abandoned place.
Well, like when I went to Toronto, I saw the aquarium in there, and they have this big room which is just like it's like 2 or 3 levels, and there's like a dip at the bottom, like a depression at the bottom, and then there's just like a chunky column of water that goes all the way up. Like I don't remember how many gallons of water that is, but if that broke, it would just fill the room up. Right?
Yeah.
So you'd lose like a level and a half of water, and that water is gonna be gross. The room is dark, so there's not going to be a lot of lighting, so you really won't be able to see into that water, so you'd have no idea if things are still alive in there.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right? You'd be like, do I, like, and then some parts of the aquarium are inaccessible unless you just go for it. We should make a game
Where you explore an abandoned
where
aquarium.
you're exploring abandoned buildings.
Yeah. Oh, did I tell? I think I sent you a text message, like when this happened. But speaking of games that we've built with mysteries, Mystery Town is a video game that we made in 2014, and I ran it again recently on my laptop.
Oh my god!
I don't know if you remember, but I sent you a text, and it was like we had a school project 5 years ago. At this point, 6 years ago, and it was absolutely terrible, and whatever, that whole thing. But I recently found the repo that we used to keep all that stuff, and I got it running on my laptop, so I think it'd be fun for us to do like a walkthrough of that code, because I was reading it and I was like shocked at some of the stuff that we did. We had like all of our logic was in one if statement. Like all of our state tracking stuff was one giant if statement with a bunch of nested if statements within it. And I'm fairly certain we had one module that wrote code. Like the thing took a file that we had, like a Java file, copied it and like put it into another directory, and then constructed an instance of a class by pointing it to a bunch of code somewhere or something. It was like IO file write out with a .java file and another thing casting it as an instance of a class or something like that. And I was like, this is absolutely awful. So we should go through that and do like a retrospective.
Okay, we'll do an autopsy. So next week will be a lot of... Yeah. Here's what we do. You and I implement Mystery Town in home games.
Hey, we actually totally could. I was doing it, and it's like there's a chat feature and all that kind of stuff, but it's all just based on this text parsing. That's what all that stuff was in the if statement. It was just looking at different possible strings, and it was terrible. But yeah, anyway, I don't know how we would actually do that. But video demo.
We'll figure it out. We'll get a way to go and do it.
We could video demo Mystery Town.
Oh, that would be pretty good. But we would have to do that as like a legacy series on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, because it's not home games. Oh, it's home games people. That's, I don't know. It's a brand. Expand the brand. Hashtag.
Expand the brand.
2020.
I don't know. I would like to do an autopsy on that project.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start a spin-off brand. It's just Yazeed and Joey. Am I closing this one out? You closing this one out?
I asked if you had anything. I was going to ask if you had anything you wanted to say before we closed out.
I don't have anything else. Let me check my notes real quick.
Okay.
That's it. That's everything. I didn't have many notes this week.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Catch us next week. It'll be a very interactive episode between me and Joseph with a direct competition.
Yeah,
despite this bias for Shinobi.
I guess so. Also, we're on the internet. Check us out. So we have a Twitter. It's HomeGamesIO. We're apparently going to be, or I'm going to be uploading to our YouTube channel, and I don't know what that's called yet. I think it's Home Games, but I don't know. So next week I'll tell you the actual channel name, but I think it's Home Games. We have a website.
You'll have to tweet it out, right? Yeah.
I probably will. And then homegames.io and all that stuff. Send us questions if you have questions or whatever, or on the internet. Thank you.
Or send us your old school projects and we'll start to tear them apart for you.
Yeah, and then someone who actually knows what they're talking about will tell us why we're wrong doing that, and then someone will come and tell that person why they're wrong. It'll be like a Russian nesting doll of intimidation.
Also known as Stack Overflow.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Well, you'll hear us next week. We won't see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.